So in example 2, we're going to focus on this inscribed angle strategy, the fact that the inscribed angle is half of its intercepted arc. And so if we go to example 2, then we know that angle X, for example, will just be 55 because it's half of 110. Okay, so looking at part B is a little bit trickier. First of all, let's make sure we know fully what's going on. So this is the angle here, X, that we're trying to find. The intercepted arc, the arc that starts and stops in between the two sides of that angle. It goes from where the angle's leg crosses the circle on one end to where it crosses on the other, where it intersects on the other. So we're looking for that green arc for this, and then once we know that green arc, we're going to take half of it to find X. So the key to this problem is that you have 360 degrees all the way around the circle. So if you take that 360 and you subtract off the 90 and you subtract off the 96, when you subtract those two things, that's what leaves you with what the green part of the circle is. That leaves you with 174 degrees. And then from there you can take half to find 174 divided by 2 is 87 degrees for X. So a little bit trickier for that one. All right, so pause the video, you try this last one, and then come back and take a look, see how you did. Okay, so on the U try, the intercepted arc was that 80 degrees. That was the arc in between the legs of that red angle there. And so then X would be half of 80, so it's 40. All right, so let's move on to, these are three corollaries that have to do with that same strategy. So they're not, they're shortcuts. Corollary, they're related to that last theorem we did. And technically you can survive and not know these three shortcuts. You can do everything we need to do in this packet without knowing these three things, but it just makes things a whole lot easier if you know these shortcuts. So first one, two inscribed angles that intercept the same arc. So let's look at what that would look like. Here's arc AB, and let's pretend AB is 120. Then we would have angle A to the O to the B, which we see starts and stops at the same place as that blue intercepted arc. We see that the rim O, the vertex of O, is on the rim of the circle, and so that's how we know that this would be 60 degrees, half of the 120. We also know that angle P, A to the P to the B, intercepts that same angle. Her start and stop place on the rim of the circle is the same as this turquoise, and so it would also be 60. It's also half of the 120. So this is going to always happen. If two angles go with the same arc, they're going to be congruent. They're going to be the same amount. Our next shortcut says an inscribed angle in a semicircle is a blankety blank, and so we know if this line is a diameter, if this is a semicircle, in other words, if it splits the circle into two half circles, then this has to be 180, and angle A to the B to the C starts and stops at the end of that 180 green arc, so we know it has to be half of 180. In other words, it's 90, so it is always going to be half of 180, which would make this a right angle. And then the last shortcut, and this one, I guess this one you really do need to know separate from the others, but this one says that the angles across from each other, what we call opposite, so across from is what opposite means, are going to be supplementary. So we've seen something like this before. We've talked about before, like in a parallelogram, the angles from across from each other were congruent. They were the same amount. So like if this was 80, then this was 80. What we're saying in this situation is when you have a four-sided shape, doesn't have to be a parallelogram, any quadrilateral, inside of a circle and all the vertices are on the rim of the circle, then if this is 80, then this has to be 100. And the same thing goes for the other two corner angles, the other two opposite angles. If this is, I don't know, 70, I'm just making up numbers, then this is 110. They have to add up to 180. So be sure not to get that confused with our properties of parallelograms. All right, so let's look at example 3 then. So, whoa. Okay, lots going on in example 3A. I see that I have a circle, with a triangle inside that circle. I'm noticing that I have 90 degrees for part of the circle for that arc. I have 170 for this arc, and then I have one remaining arc that I don't know the degrees of. So I think I'm going to start with, I would feel better if I knew all the degrees all the way around the circle. So I'm going to say 360 minus that 170 minus that 90, and that leaves me with 100 degrees for this blue arc here. Okay, so now that I know that, I can start working my way around to find the degrees of the angles on the inside. So I'm going to start with X. I'm going to go in alphabetical order. So if I trace the two sides of X, and again, I highly recommend using a colored pencil to do this, you have to look at where this angle stops on the circle, and that tells you what angle goes with it. What's the intercepted arc? What's the angle in between the two red legs of that angle? So it looks like it goes with the 90, so that means X would be 45. Okay, then the next one, I'm going to erase my red here. The next one I'm going to trace is going to be Y, since we're going in alphabetical order. And so half of 100, 100 is going to be that intercepted arc, would be 50. So now you have options because you already know two angles in the triangle. You can either use the fact that Z is going to be half of 170, or you can use all the angles in this triangle add up to 180 to find Z. Either way gets you there. So 180 minus the 45 minus the 50 gives us 85 for Z. So X was 45 and Y was 50. There's all of our answers. All right, so let's now go a little bit different strategy. We're using in part B that last corollary. What I notice is it doesn't like it when I zoom in. I'm noticing that I have a quadrilateral, a four-sided shape inside of a circle. So back to the rules about if you have a four-sided figure, quadrilateral inside of a circle, the angles across from each other add up to 180. So if we know that this angle is 120, we automatically know that the angle in the bottom right-hand corner will be 60. And we know that if this angle is 55, then X will be 180 minus 55, which gives us 125 for angle X. Oh, I wrote down 120. Okay, so let's make C a U try. Give it your best shot. If you get stuck, that's fine. Just come back and watch the video. But go ahead and fill in as much as you think you can. Okay, so I started with the yellow triangle and said, that's a triangle, and I know how to find the degrees of a triangle. I know that all the angles of a triangle add up to 180. So 180 minus the 28 minus the 62 left me with 90 degrees for the remaining angle. From there, then I was thinking about, well, arc X goes from here to here, and that blue angle, that 90-degree angle we just found, also stops on the circle here and here. And so we would do double the 90 to get 180 for X. So one of the questions I have sometimes is, how do you know, like if you're looking on the circle where the arc is, How do you know where the angle to look at on the angle to know which angle goes? So you have 3 points on an angle. You have this starting point, this vertex, and then you have the ending point. It's never the vertex that you want. It's the other 2 points you're looking at to determine where that arc should start and stop.